Welcome back, beautiful people. This is episode 84 of an Untold Narrative. And today's guest is somebody who I've actually never met and who is connected not only through a friend of a friend, but a friend of a friend of a friend. So it's kind of third arm extension, which is amazing. But I trust the people that I know, and I'm very excited about this conversation with Jairus Morris, who is our first co-founder or founder and CEO of a water bottle company called SUPLMNT. So Jairus, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I love the introduction.
I appreciate that. So first and foremost, like, where are you, right? Like, where are you? Where are you from? Give us a little bit of 30-second elevator pitch about yourself.
Got you. Well, I'm originally from South Philly. You know what I mean? Meek Mill, Allen Iverson. But I live in New Jersey now, South Jersey. I've been all over Jersey, South Jersey, North Jersey, Central, all over the place. But right now I'm out here in South Jersey.
Amazing. And so Philly, okay, so I work for a company called N State. We just partnered with Devontae Smith of the Philadelphia Eagles. I assume you're an Eagles fan.
Of course. Die hard.
Birds.
I bleed green, man.
That's
a sad year, but listen, man, we're going to be back.
I've never, really spent a ton of time in Philly, but this year, I think Philly fans are the craziest.
Hey, man, listen, we're passionate about our team. You know what? It's been a lot of years of just going back and forth, people coming at us, and then we finally win a Super Bowl. So now you can't really tell us nothing.
I love that. And so, talk about kind of your upbringing, your childhood. Like, what was it like? Were you surrounded by your parents who are entrepreneurial, or talk a little bit about your upbringing a little?
Yeah, so I grew up in South Philly, in the hood. You know what I mean? I grew up in like the crack epidemic. Honestly, I grew up single family home. My mom always did everything she had to do to kind of provide and do stuff like that for us. But she always had some type of hustle she was doing, whether it was like Mary Kay or any of those them pyramid scheme type companies where you try to get people to join the team. My mom was always trying to figure out a way to try and provide more. So I feel as though I kind of got the hunger and the desire to want to build something just based off of her always trying and not really being able to really figure it out. Mainly because it was 5 of us. So I'm one of 5 kids.
Oh my God.
So yeah, sometimes you get the opportunity to chase your dreams, but when you got 5 little nagging kids asking you for clothes and food and stuff like that, you got to kind of focus on getting money to Safeway. So, a lot of my entrepreneurial spirit definitely comes from my mom, for sure.
Yeah, that's so funny you said that. My mom growing up worked for one of those pyramid schemes too, called I think it was called Prime America or something like that. But
that's one of them.
So I totally hear you on it. But it's do whatever you got to do to make a couple extra dollars.
Yeah. 100%.
What was it like growing up with 5 siblings? That's being one of 5. That's a lot of humans.
Yeah, honestly, I think it was dope, man. I actually feel bad for people when they grow up. It's only 2 of them. Having that many siblings, going to school and knowing that you got your siblings that got your back, just in case something, especially when you're living in the hood. You know what I mean? Having family, is probably one of the most valuable things you can have growing up. Is having siblings. I had an older brother, so something happened with me, my older brother was right there. Something happened with him, I'm right there. Same thing with my sister. So I think growing up with siblings, a lot of bickering and stuff in the house, but at the end of the day, we got each other's back. So,
yeah, no, I love that positive perspective. Not everybody could say they have good relationships with their siblings. So,
yeah, my mom did a good job, man.
That's a good job. That's awesome. And so, what did you do growing up? What did you go to? Could you go to college? Did you get an education in business? Kind of talk about your education there.
Yeah. So, from Philly, I moved to Jersey. And once we got to Jersey, I started to see the good things in life, people with grass and pools and all the fun stuff. And I'm okay, so I ended up going to college. I went to King University. It's a school up in North Jersey. A lot of people probably never heard of it. But yeah, man, college was probably the biggest eye opener. I connected with some new family that I didn't really grow up with, growing up, and they kind of opened my eye to getting money and different ways of how to get money and how to hustle. And, so while I was in school, like any other college student, I was broke. So figuring out ways to try and get money, whether it is trying to sell cars, I mean, I've probably done it all, man. Selling insurance. I've always been trying to figure out a way to try and, make money. And honestly, I would say like going into college, I know a lot of different ethnicities that, their parents might tell them, like, I know a lot of African guys I know, their parents will tell them like, yo, you go to school for science or math, like all that other stuff is BS. But, like my generation, my family is just like, I'm a first generation college kid. So they're just like, just go to college. I don't care what you do. So, when I went, I wasn't like, I didn't have a real plan. You know what I mean? I had a plan that I knew I wanted to like make money, but I'm like, I'm just trying to do something that's easy that I can pass. So I did public administration. So I didn't even have like a legit business background. But, I would say I got heavily involved in business by trial and error and me just like having that like fire inside that I wanted to do something bigger than like working a 9 to 5.
Does that literally just stem from like your family growing up, like not having much? Like where does that fire come from? Like that, like, not many people have it, right?
Yeah, honestly, I think that pain stems from the struggle, honestly. Like just seeing like your family going through stuff, people going on trips and doing all these things and you never was able to do that. Or like, what I mean? Like for me, for instance, like I never had cable growing up at all until I went to college. When I got to the dorms and it was cable there. Got my first cell phone when I went to college, like all types of stuff. Like had to hustle to get my own car because like all those different types of things kind of like molded me to like be the type of guy and like the mindset that I have today. It's just like, I want to be able to like get it. So that way, like from here on, like I feel like those generational curses just kind of like out the door. Like from like me on, we'll be like continue to win pretty much. So.
What was like one of the craziest things that you did to make $1 back in the college days? Because it sounds like from selling insurance to flipping cars or whatever, you've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah, honestly, probably flipping cars is probably the craziest, the most wild thing to do. Just because, like, you're getting cars. I had a friend that was a Nigerian dude. He had like a, what do you call it? It's like a dealer's license. So he allowed us to like use his dealer's license to go to these like dealer only auctions and like buy cars. And so you would get like a car that you could sell for like $5,000. I would be able to get it for like 900, put like 200 and get like the work done, get it cleaned up, and then just like throw it on like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. And I was able to sell it, sell it for make like 2,000-3,000. But, it started to get crazy. You selling cars in different areas, different hooded areas. And then the car doesn't work in a month. They calling you, threatening your life and all that. So it was just that's probably the craziest thing that I had to do, really, to try and get some bread.
Yeah, because like I don't know, I assume you're not like a massive car expert. You could get by, but like if something goes wrong, like it's not like
that's on you, man. It's a as is. I used to tell people that this is as is, just so you know. It'll come at me in 2 months when the thing breaks.
Yeah, yikes. That definitely is a different perspective, but hey, it sounds like it worked out for the better. You learned, people learn a lot from like the buying, selling, trading. I mean, it's no different than baseball cards, except you're doing it with a vehicle that's worth thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, so from there, I did have a sales background. So I ended up interning at McKesson Medical. It's probably like the biggest medical supply company in the U.S., probably globally now. But I became an account manager there when I left school, and I did really well. I was like one of the top reps, and and I kind of got the spark of wanting to create my own product from that job because we used to have these things called like in-services where companies will come in and they would pretty much teach us and show us like their products, because it was a medical supply company, so it was like rollators, wheelchairs, stuff like that. And they would, tell us like where they got it manufactured at, and then they would teach us the attributes so we could properly sell it. So like I will stick behind on those in services and kind of talk to the manufacturers like, yo, so like where do you guys get this stuff done? And they're like, oh, we'll get this stuff done in China or Taiwan, and just do some branding, and then we'll give it to you guys. Y'all sell, and pretty much they make a lot of money. So I'm just like, okay, so get a product created in China or some other country where you can get it done at a good rate, bring it over here, do a lot of branding, and then sell it. I'm like, okay, that's a great concept. If I could do it a lot for McKesson and make them a lot of money, I'm pretty sure I could do it for myself. So that's really what sparked me to be like, okay, I need to figure out some type of product I need to sell.
Wow, when you break it down that simplistically, That's like what makes the world go round, doesn't
It
it?
is. Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. Yeah. It's crazy.
What do you think, if you have, this background in sales, and like I can hear by the energy, like in talking to you, right? Like you would make a great sales rep, right?
Right. Right.
What's like one key attribute that you think like anybody listening could take away of like what made you good at sales versus like other people? Is there like one attribute of something that you picked up, the way you said something, the way you related to people? Like what can people take away to better themselves in like talking or selling a product?
Honestly, I think it's more so it's kind of like using your own personality and being yourself. I'm naturally just like a talkative people person. So it's honestly it's like listening to the person that you're talking to, understanding like those pain points and stuff that like I feel like a lot of people when they're trying to sell something, you're not really like connecting or listening with your consumer or customer first. You're just trying to like sell, sell, sell. So it's like when you approach sales and you approach things like this with like, like I want to talk to you first. I want to get you comfortable, understand, what your pain points are. And then from that knowledge that I just learned, now I can like successfully sell to you by like those pain points that you told me about. So I would say listening and having that type of personality.
Yeah, no, I 1000% agree. What's the saying? They said you have two ears and one mouth and use them proportionally, right?
Right. 100%. Yeah, that's a fact.
So you did this job for this medical company, and it sparked the idea of like I need to take that same kind of framework and do it for myself. Is that
100%.
kind of where the initial idea of supplement started?
Actually, it is. Yep. That's exactly how it happened. So like I was doing that, and then I started seeing that my job started to lay a lot of departments off. So like departments that were booming. I was in like a huge building, and like certain departments were just like getting like they would go into the lunchroom, and then the cops would be there, and they wouldn't let them go back to their desk, and they were just going home. They were just like laying off a bunch of people. So I was just like, man, I need to figure out another hustle just in case, my job is in jeopardy. And at the time, of course, it wasn't in jeopardy yet. Like, we were like probably one of the top performing teams like in my division. But at that time, I was just like, man, well, while I'm getting paid will probably be the best time, like use my job as my first investor to try and like start trying shit, like just trying different things. So that's definitely what sparked the whole
So
me, like,
what was
trying to do it.
the first thing you tried, like a water bottle?
No, the first thing I tried was Amazon. Actually, I started to do Amazon FBA. So like I was selling, I was doing like pet supplies. Like I would go, I would, I would reach out because I understood how to work with manufacturers. So I just was like, okay, let me find like I downloaded this app called Jungle Scout, and Jungle Scout shows you like all the top items selling on Amazon by category. So I had saw like, oh, like pet supplies is like flying off the shelves. Like, let me try that. So I like ordered kitty litter, all this stuff from like manufacturers. They would ship it to me. Then I would like put my labels on them and ship them back to Amazon, and stuff started to sell. And I was just like, my girl, she was just like, man, like you got all this stuff all over the house. Like, nah, like this is not it. So I was like, I need to figure out something else and something more lucrative, because those manufacturers were just like taxing you. Like they make you charging you all of this to bring it in. And then I'm just like, if I'm able to like private label my own item, maybe I could make more in return. So like Amazon really is the thing that kind of got me kickstarted of like really trying to brand and figure out like what did I want to do.
So
from
like
there.
everybody can watch like these TikTok videos or YouTube videos on like exactly like selling or buying and selling and reframing it on Amazon these days. It obviously takes skill and it takes like patience
Yeah, man.
but like there is money in it, right? Like were you making decent money?
There's a ton of money in it, but like first of all, Amazon fees are ridiculous. They're gonna hit you over the head every single time. You really have to know what you're doing, or you're gonna get in and just lose money. So when people watch those videos and they're like, "Oh, the guy will, talk in front of his Ferrari or something like that to make people think it's just like the most lucrative thing," fake. It's fake. It is extremely lucrative, but most of those guys have been in the game for a long time. They own the buy boxes for a lot of different categories and products. Like the average person getting in, like you got to like fight to be able to get your stuff to start selling on there. So that's really what deterred me. I was just like, like I need to figure out like that's a game that I need to have somebody that's like an expert at like at like, the code words and all that stuff that you got to do on Amazon. I didn't have that at the time. So I was just like, man, I got to figure something else out. So, from there, I ended up, I stumbled across the water bottle industry, actually, like by mistake. I was just like, man, I can't do pet supplies anymore. Like, let me try to figure out something else that's actually more meaningful to me, because I had no passion for selling pet supplies. So I'm like, man, I'm trying to find like a passion project, like something that actually like hits home to like what something that means something to me. And it's something that I feel like I can like give back to like my community, that they will actually want to embrace and use like heavily. So I kind of stumbled across, a couple really large insulated water bottle brands that were selling like 40,000 units a month on Amazon, and I never heard of them. So I'm like, wow. So like I will look at it, I will see like, okay, they're selling 40,000 units a month on this platform, yet I've never heard of them. Like, this is crazy. So I would hit up, a couple of my peers, a couple different people I grew up with, like, yo, have you ever heard of this brand? The brand was Hydro Flask at the time. I was like, yo, you ever heard of this brand? And he's just like, no. And I would ask, I'm talking at least like 50 people. They're just like, nah, I never heard of that. I don't know nothing about insulated bottles. I was like, ding, 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 ding. Let me figure out why these people haven't heard of it. So I would go on their websites, check everything out, scroll around. I'm just like, wow, it's because they're just not marketing to us. They market to like people kayaking. I kayak, but if I saw an ad about kayaking, I'm probably going to keep scrolling. So hiking, all that different shit. So I'm just like, okay, if I can create a brand that feels like us, it looks like us, maybe, this insulated bottle thing could work. Plus, I was just like, this is funny because this was like a certain time in my life where I was just like trying to get more health conscious. I had watched like that show, like What the Health and all of that stuff. And I'm just like, man, like I really do not drink water enough. Like I don't drink enough water. I'm not properly hydrated. I drink too much sugary drinks. So I'm just like, I was making a health change at that time too. So I was like being more conscious about drinking water, staying healthy. So I was just like, man, like if I get into the water bottle game, I mean, it's kind of something that can go hand in hand. So, I ended up, doing the traditional route that everybody does. I went on Alibaba. I found some knockoff Hydro Flask bottles. Bought like 200 of them. And I made like a logo up. It was called like Moto Can at the time. And I had made a logo. I ordered those bottles, got them logos on there. I ran like a $25 campaign on Instagram for like a week or two. And I was like, yo, like, come get the insulated bottle for the culture, like trying to like make it like a thing. And people bought them, man. They bought like 120 of them joints. I only had like probably like 60 of them left. And I was just like, yo, I think I really got something. And then people started asking me like, yo, like, how'd you invent this technology? Like my ice been cold in here for 24 hours. I'm just like, I didn't invent this tech. It's just that you weren't marketed to. So, that's kind of how, that was the basic level of how SUPLMNT ended up being born, was like starting from there.
Wow, what a rocket ship of a story. We go from kitty litter to fucking thermal flasks in your apartment.
Yeah.
What were you still working the full-time job at this point?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Still working.
So it was really like offsetting, okay, like, hey, let's run some campaigns, let's do some things. But the takeaway for me is like, you found not only the fact that there was proof of work already with the 40,000 units times $40 a bottle. You can do the math, right? Like it's not ridiculous, not chump change. So then you're like, okay, they're only targeting to the hikers of the world. Why don't I like talk to my community and the people around me?
Right.
And then you tested it out. Right?
Yeah, I tested it out.
Low cost too. Like
put my own money up.
How much did the 200 bottles cost you?
It's probably around like $6 a bottle.
Okay, so that's not nothing.
It was like I can't even remember honestly. It probably was like $7.50 a bottle, I believe, maybe around that. And then
so
plus
you took a bet. You took a bet. You're like, I believe in this.
Yeah. I was just like, I'm gonna try it, see if it works. Because I'm like, man, it's such a huge demographic that just wasn't being marketed to in the right way. So I was just like, I'm gonna be that guy. Like I'm gonna test this out. And after that success from that, I was just was like, okay, like now I got something, but I can't do Hydro Flask because if we blow up, they're gonna sue me because this is their bottles, their design. So I ended up actually, going on LinkedIn, And I was just, well, first I went on Google. I was like, who are the founders of Hydro Flask, or who are the founders of Yeti? And I found the a couple names, and I was like, just rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I'm gonna just message one of these guys on LinkedIn. So I messaged the guy, Travis Roshbash. He's like the original founder of Hydro Flask. And he didn't read the message for like a week. So I'm just like, I went null and void. Then like one day I'm at work and my phone goes off. Boom. I look down. It's like him, like, oh, hey, because I hit him up like, yo, like, I love what you did with that brand. I'm trying to do something similar, but to a totally different demographic. Like, let me know if you got some time to chat. You know, I would love to set up a Zoom call. And he was just like, yeah, I would love to set up the Zoom. So I was like, shit, okay, let's go. So he sent me the invite. We got on. I'm at work at the time too. Like I went to like an office, like a private like meeting room. I'm at work, like, hey, and I couldn't believe I had to get on video because I wanted to make sure it was actually him.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We're on there, and he's just like excited about like the whole idea. Like, yeah, like I think that's genius. I think like, you know, of course, like doing exactly what I did, but like to a whole nother demographic is genius. And I'm just like, cool. So like, you know, how do I do this? So you know, we ended up talking, and you know, the relationship kind of got built. He ended up introducing me to one of the top factories that I'm working with now. Like a lot of bridges that you know, that would have been a little more difficult to reach. He was able to like kind of connect those dots, get me introduced me to a couple of VCs. Of course, there I had to do all the work with like, you know, pitching to them and like showing my excitement and like, kind of like Shark Tank. I was doing that like a whole lot, just like talking to different VCs, trying to get somebody to believe in that idea. And I ended up meeting with a team that had a black industrial designer. His name's Ish. He was a beast. Me and him like sat down. We had like these long calls on like brainstorming on like how can we come up with a bottle that like incorporates like street fashion, like sneaker culture, something that would like speak to the urban community, the urban audience, as well as, you know, be functional, be something that actually is going to have the technology of what a Hydro Flask or Yeti does, but also be better. So like certain different things that we wanted to incorporate, we was just like kind of hashing it out. And he's a genius. He came up with like 5 different designs. We like kind of picked our favorite 2 and just merged them together to end up being this beautiful, sleek bottle that you have right here. And, you know, the rest was kind of history from there. I mean, yeah, that's like the story from the very start to like.
So what year was that? Like how long ago was that?
So I started off with the knockoff Hydro Flasks back in 2018. And
okay.
Then I got the supplement bottles, like, cause I went like a year of selling them, and then I just like stopped. I just like was like, all right, like I kind of just got occupied with life. I had a whole bunch of stuff going on, so I kind of just like fell off. And then come 2020 is when it came back around, when I was just like, I started sending the DMs. I got in contact with the Hydro Flask guy, and then you know, 2020 is like the official time where I like incorporated the company. I did all this stuff, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna hit full throttle on this joint. And so 2020 was like our first like official year of me raising funding and like getting the tooling and everything done. But we didn't start really going to market to sell till 2021, because as you know, this business was really born during COVID, which was like the craziest time to ever. Most people say the dumbest time to start a business, but to me, it was probably the perfect time to start a business.
No, for sure. I mean, like when everything else is down, that's when builders come build, right? And then you know, when things get back on the rise, that's the perfect time. And for those listening, you know, the audience is usually a bunch of creatives. Like opening tooling for like a specific custom water, like that takes time. It takes money, capital,
money. Yeah.
So it's good that you like found the right people. It sounds like this LinkedIn message saved SUPLMNT or built SUPLMNT really.
It did. Yeah. Honestly, the decision on my part, choosing the right VC firm was the best. Cause when I was working with the Hydro Flask with Travis at the time, like he didn't even want to go with that VC. He's like, you know, I know people there. I don't really like them like that. Like, let's go with this other one. And it's just like, even till this day, like that firm is like helping us out like tremendously. Like till this day, and we haven't raised money with them in a long time, but they're like, that was like the best decision I could have made. Was like, that's why I say like when you interview and you're trying to talk with VCs, you really want to talk with people that are actually passionate about what you're doing, and not just like giving you money and just like, all right, do your thing. Like you want some people that are like, all right, here's money, but like, how can we help? Like, how can we, like, what can we do in our network that can like help take your business to the next level? And I think they're like fantastic at doing that. So that was probably one of the best decisions. Travis was a great decision of like hooking me up with a bottle factory, but like the VC I went with was probably the best decision I could have did though.
If you if you look back over the past couple of years, is there one thing that stands out to you that you would have done different? Or like, is everything really just kind of come together like in this really unique, perfect way? Or like, is there
Impossible,
something?
yeah. Nothing's ever comes through perfectly. Like honestly, if I could go back in time, stuff that I could do differently, I mean, it's a shit ton of stuff I would do differently. I mean, because this whole thing was trial and error, like contracts that I created,
Right.
equity that I may have like gave away and then had to get back. You know, even down to like colors of the bottles and like sizes that I wish I would have got created first before doing another one. It's just like you're gonna make the mistakes. I think not overthinking will keep the progression going. I feel like when you overthink, that's what like stunts growth and creativity, is because you're just like you're overthinking it. So I would say think through stuff, but like always keep some type of action, because even after all those stuff that I say I would change, like I still like in a sense really landed on my feet like to this day. Like even meeting a guy that you connected me with, like, you know what I mean, like the global Adidas guy, like for marketing, like I would like even meeting him, like if some of the stuff I didn't mess up or like, you know, encounter, like I probably would have never even met this guy that ends up being like the top branding guy for my team. So
I mean,
you know,
hindsight's always 20/20, but it really, when you look back on these paths, right, the spider web of connections is really like something nobody could ever plan for. Nobody could ever like.
Yeah,
you really got to. It's all trial and error. It's all just giddy up and go.
Stay ready, so you don't got to get ready. That's kind of how I look at it. Like you never know who you're gonna end up on a call with. Like you really never know. Like people will hear your idea or hear what you got going on and be like, yo, that's dope. You wouldn't even realize, like, you don't realize that a lot of stuff that you're thinking about is dope, but we kind of like, we're our own worst enemy, or we're just like, we're too hard on ourselves. It's like, it's like, you just got to put forth that action, make the mistakes and just learn from them joints. And some stuff that may seem like mistakes to you won't seem like a mistake to somebody else. Like I'm just a lot harder on myself when it comes to building and stuff like that, because you're getting in a place where it's like, you feel as though like, I never did nothing crazy or great before. And you on a phone with like some NFL player that's won Super Bowl, and he's sitting here like, yo, I think your idea is fantastic. And it's like, that's what's up, yo. I appreciate that. It gives you that reassurance sometimes, because like when you're going through this, there's a lot of naysayers, a lot of people that's like, a water bottle, man, seriously? And you're like, yeah, like a water bottle. You're like, I'll tell you, something as simple as that can get us out the hood.
Yeah, I mean, there's something so funny. Like, so then my next question was going to be like, you know, talk about some of the partnerships, because I heard like offline, like some of the amazing partnerships, but you just said something really interesting of like, yeah, I'm on a call with like an NFL player who's like, thinks this is amazing. But at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter where you are in your life or your career. We're all human, and nobody's really above anybody else.
Exactly.
And anybody can think you have an amazing idea, and there's always going to be the people who talk shit.
Listen, I'll tell you one thing. When I first started this and I was like having to actually pitch the brand to people, being in sales, I had to get on camera and like, or just like present in front of like the sales leaderships all the time. And I learned that early on. It's just like when you put people and other people that are in higher positions than you on a pedestal, it'll really like ruin presentations. Like when you feeling all nervous and you just like, I don't know what they're going to say about me. It's just like living life that way just sucks. Honestly, it's just like you're nervous all the time. You get in the sweats and you stumbling over your words. And it's just like, and when you look at people and be like, yo, you're just a human just like me, man. And I think what I have is dope. If you don't like it, then I mean, that's just your prerogative. I'll just go speak it to somebody else. But one thing I won't do is sit there and just like try to make me feel like I'm inferior. So yeah. Taking that mindset into like the room of like, especially like, you know, like I said, pitching your idea in front of like a room, like and you know, this was during COVID when I was raising money. So I would like get on a call and I'm like pitching my idea, and it's like 30 or 40 investors on a Zoom call. And I'm like looking through these, like in the beginning of the call, because I was like the third person to pitch this one time. So it was like two other guys that went before me. And I'm just like looking through the people on the call. And I'm just like, I'm about to pitch this call about being a Black-owned insulated water bottle brand geared toward urban culture. And it's not one Black person on this entire Zoom. Like, I was just like, oh, this is going to suck. But I was just like, you know what? it is what it is, man. They either gonna like it or they not. So, I just put it all out there, man. Just focus on that green dot right there. Put it all out there. And after that call, man, I had like 15 people like, yeah, I want to give money. I'll give some money. I'm just like, let's go. And after that, I was just like, I'm not being intimidated by nobody ever again. Like this, just stay focused. You know what you're working on. If you believe in it, somebody's gonna believe in that joint. So it's kind of how I just a lot all in a nutshell. But that's kind of
no. I that's perfectly said. That's beautifully said. That's amazing. I mean, what a wild run. One of the key partnerships that I heard about was that you were the water bottle sponsor for the Waste Management Open, if I'm not mistaken, which is like one of the biggest golf tournaments on the planet. So like, how are you finding these partnerships, right? Like,
It's my team, man. My team is reaching out to different individuals. Honestly, the bottle seems to close a lot of deals. Us being like a Black owned brand and geared toward like hydrating the urban culture, like our main mission really is just like, it's hydration really. It's like we're trying to make sure people are drinking more water, staying healthy. So when we're reaching out to a lot of these different companies, a lot of these companies are kind of like bored with Hydro Flask and Yetis, because that's like the main companies that everybody are working with. So like when they hear that there's another one that has a nicer bottle, I would say, and they also have like a mission, geared toward like urban culture and geared toward like making sure, the communities are actually staying hydrated, drinking water. It's something that they like when they want to adopt as a part of their brand and a part of their business. Like who doesn't want to stand behind a company that's just about empowering like the urban community or just the youth in general? You know what I mean? Just, the stuff that we do as far as like giving back is just like, it's something that people would like really want to be a part of or want to be behind. Plus we have extremely dope custom capabilities. I don't know if you saw that waste management bottle, but that was a super dope bottle, man.
Yeah, and from my understanding, and you definitely can riff off of what I'm about to say, but like you have these different tiered formats of customization that you offer, your products to, which I haven't really seen too much of in the kind of custom work industry. When people do these giveaways or branded corporate products or whatever it is, it's usually like slap a sticker here, but like you guys like offer like multi tiers of different
we changing the game, baby. We out here. What we're doing is we're trying to take this bottle that you walk around, you carry with, and make this like a part of your everyday life. Not only is it going to remind you that, all right, let me fill this back up, make sure I'm drinking my water, but we're going to make it a collector's item where it's just like, I would say it's a conversation starter where it's like you got that sitting on the table. It's like, oh, it's a dope bottle. Like what artist drew that on there, or what you got that from that sneaker store, like, or a waste man. Like it might be a conversation starter for somebody that's a golfer. They're like, oh, that's a super cool bottle. Where'd you get that? So it's just like we're trying to change the game with the water bottle industry. Period. Making bottles more of like a collector's item, something that you like, an accessory that you want to walk around with every day. Plus, it's keeping you hydrated, and the mission behind the brand represents the dopeness of hydration culture. So that's really all of it in a nutshell.
I love that. What when you look out, first and foremost, two-part question. One, do you look out into the future? And then two, like kind of do you have like a vision for the brand and how to grow it over the next, let's call it 6, 12, 18 months?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's endless. Right now we only have a 24-ounce bottle and we have a 20-ounce tumbler. So, of course, people have been bugging us about coming out with some kid sizes because they, a lot of kids in schools have to have like a requirement to bring a bottle with them to schools. They're trying to reduce like plastic waste and stuff like that. Yep. And then we want to, get that a couple larger size for our gym heads and people that like really drink a ton of water every day and they don't want to have to fill it up after 24 ounces. We also going to come out with we got a whole product line, man, trying to come out with some filtered straw options, make sure people that don't have that clean of water where they live, they could just fill it up and still drink and still get like quality hydration, quality water. So, I mean, I think it's endless, man. We'll be coming out with a lot of stuff. As long as the people out there are supporting and we're able to grow this the way I see it growing, I think the opportunity is endless.
Man, I hope that if there's one thing people take away from this conversation is like, if you believe in something and you have a mission and you're passionate about it, man, go chase it. You never know what's going to change. Like literally, I'm just like in my back of my brain, I'm just picturing all this kitty litter sitting in your apartment.
Yeah,
now you're working with waste management.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. That's
What
literally how it happened.
one of the final questions that I always like to ask our guests is, it's a closing tradition now of you. A lot of us wouldn't be here today without somebody else's support and help, right? So if there's 1, 2, 3 groups of people that you would want to give flowers to or a shout out to, who have really helped ground you along your mission and along your way, is there any one or multiple people that come to mind that you want to show some love to?
Yeah, it's a ton of people, man. I got, of course, my mom's. She's probably the original one that got me into wanting to, be an entrepreneur or even want to like chase my dreams and start a business. I got a homie, my boy Roger. He helped me down. A lot of this like that motivational stuff you need when you like feel like you don't want to do this type stuff no more. Of course, my lady, got to give props to her holding us down. I got a little one, my little baby. You know what I mean? If she went out there to make sure that holding the house and the baby down, then I won't be able to be out here doing all of this super dope stuff that we doing. So yeah, of course, my family, siblings, all of that. Everybody plays a part. My big bro, all that stuff plays a part, man. It takes a village to be able to do some stuff like this, for real.
I love that. Yeah, no, thanks for giving all those people shout outs. And then where can people find you? Where can people learn about your journey? Where can people find more about SUPLMNT? Where can people go buy a bottle?
Yeah, you can hit us up at www.suplmnt.com. It's the same thing for Instagram, SUPLMNT.
Amazing.
We're on Twitter now, which is SUPLMNT Life. At SUPLMNT Life, the same way I spelled it before. So follow us, tag us, buy a bottle, tag us, send me some pictures. I'll make a reel.
Yeah, let's go,
friends, man. Let's be friends.
I love that. We'll plug the links in the bio below as well. Jairus, this has been amazing. This has been a lot of fun. Episode 84 of An Untold Narrative, man. I'm stoked that you joined us. I'm stoked I got connected to you.
Appreciate that, man. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, of course.